Is this this is a strange week?
Or sugar-filled.
Yeah, it's very much sugar-filled. Well, you're in between. Those that don't have kids, it's just after a long weekend. Those that do have kids, it's still week 2 of
Half
a mini
term.
holiday. There's still plates to be spun. Granted, a lot of those plates now are full with chocolates. But
I shouldn't really eat chocolate, and I've eaten loads this weekend.
I think everyone does.
Do you know what? I knew it was bad yesterday when I started having heartburn.
I knew
My
it was,
mum made ice slices yesterday.
I knew it was bad on.
Oh, my mum's ice slices are good. You've had those ones, haven't you?
Yes, on Monday. So that was when I had
carrot
a
cake.
little chocolate egg thing at 9:38 a.m.
Oh, I think it was by 10 o'clock the other morning. My daughter had eaten a whole egg. She's 3 years old, like. Trying to get her to eat proper food last night was like.
No, I think
She
everyone,
has this. She has this thing of I want healthy food, but her definition of healthy food is sweets and chocolate
of what she likes.
of what she likes. So she kind of got a little bit wrong when you say no, that's not healthy food.
I think that the 4
She'll argue
days
with you.
over Easter, a bit like Christmas, you just have to not get into touch any relevance of healthy eating because it just doesn't exist, especially for kids.
but it's like I can tell with my skin and everything that it's just like mind you, I've fallen off the wagon in some fine style with that, as you well know.
As you can see with the cut there in the hand, you've fallen off.
Oh yeah, that. So that was right. Don't do this, home kids. Don't cut a bread roll, holding it in your hand and slicing downwards like this with an extremely sharp carving knife that you've just sharpened. Because I went right through the bread and went zish like that and just sliced through my hands about an inch long.
I do it all the time with strawberries. I hold them for anyone that's watching YouTube like that and cut down. And you know someday.
No, I literally, but I went like that with the bread roll, like that, and my hand like it was part of the bread roll. Never done that before.
Don't eat healthy. Stay with the chocolates. You won't get cut.
I don't think I even cut the bread roll for myself, though. That's the worst thing. No, it wasn't. It was someone else's. Stupid. Don't know why I even thought of it. And I picked the sharpest knife that I have in my drawer.
It's brilliant. It wasn't just.
That wasn't all the weekend. That was about a week ago.
It wasn't just chocolate on the weekend, because some of them listen. I'm not going to name who you are, but we were out friends on Sunday, and the kids started smashing chocolates, and the adults started smashing Prosecco and cans in the park at 1 o'clock. It was like they were 17 years of age again. But let's not mention names. You all know who you are, and some of you actually listen to this. But good on you.
I didn't have a drink at all this weekend. Well, that's nothing new, is it?
Do you know what? This is almost like a broken record about cost of living, cost of lifestyle, and all that. Monday, went to the cinema. The
More
Odeon,
fool you.
Oh, I know, yeah. Odeon in Cardiff Bay. 10 a.m. viewing for Super Mario Brothers, the movie. I think that's the name of it. Actually, it was very good.
Bang on, actually.
2 adults and a child in the IMAX. Get it? I clicked on it originally. I didn't know it was IMAX. Not sure about the
What's
difference.
the IMAX?
I think it's a bit louder and maybe a bit brighter. I'm not entirely sure.
Bigger.
3 people, 10 o'clock on a Monday morning, excluding any of the food. Now, the food, when you book online, says it's cheaper. When you click to book, they ask, do you want to pre-book any food? The food itself, not a great looking hot dog, 3 cheese strips and a tub, is the only way I could describe it, of Coke, orange, whatever it may be, $11.99. Wow, I didn't even look at the popcorn. 2 adults and a child to go to the cinema for an hour and 27 minutes. £45.
Wow. 45 quid. Is that how much cinema costs these days?
That's how much the IMAX cost. 10 a.m. on the morning.
Is there many people in there?
There was 25, 30 people in.
Is it running full?
Oh, no.
Probably if they halved that price, it'd probably be full.
I was expecting a half of that price.
Cinema-wise, I've only really been to the Everyman one, which is when you sit down and you can have food. But actually, that's actually quite reasonable in comparison.
Yeah, I was shocked. Consider now, if you have a family and let's say you have 2 kids and you bring bring them for an afternoon down there to the bay. There's loads of slot machines and all that. You go in, you make a
Yeah, but if you
meal
went
of
and had
it.
food before, you'd be probably another 45 quid on food. So you need 100 quid for the day.
Well, throw a second kid into it, maybe, an average family, you're probably doing in 3 hours there, 3.5 hours, 120, 130
Yeah,
quid.
probably.
That's a lot
It's a lot
of money for 3 hours during a 2-week period
Wow.
in holidays.
Wow.
So everyone just seems to be ramping up the cost of everything. Last week, I got a letter, and it was directly from whoever it is, the CEO or whatever of O2, my phone bill.
Oh, fair play to him.
Yeah.
That's nice.
It
He
was nice.
handwrite it as well.
He didn't handwrite. He looked like he hand signed it through DocuSign or something like that. But my phone bill was going up 17.4% from April.
Because in there, like inflation plus whatever they put it on.
Yeah.
But obviously, inflation's going to come down or something.
And I rang and they went, well, everyone's doing that because of the cost of living crisis.
Yeah, because mine was about similar, I think.
Everyone drums this thing out. Cost of living. I said there's no cost of living crisis to O2. O2 doesn't exist. It doesn't live. You just make it's a cost of more profit lifestyle.
Wow.
And I did kind of try and push, but in fairness, the lady was really sweet. It was her job to pacify me. I said, you know what, just fine. I'll have a look around elsewhere because I can do it.
They offer you a discount.
No,
Usually
because
do if you tell
there's
them.
another 6 months left in the deal.
They will when you go though.
Of course they will. But
They'll probably knock like 25%
the
off.
grass is not greener on the other side always, so we'll have a look around and see.
Oh, we'll
what
tangled up the
it
cable.
is. But it just shows everyone is jumping on the bandwagon of putting every price of everything up. Cinema, phone,
Mad, isn't it?
crazy. Then, which leads on, I read the other day, somebody on one of these internet news things was telling people about how to look and save. They kept using the word save rather than invest for retirement. And the person who I've checked up and is in no way qualified whatsoever to give any sort of advice or instructions, a bit like Mr. Lewis on ITV, but that's another day, that if you are close to retirement, let me read it. Something like the safer option for you would be to go into a cash ISA.
Wow. Some nice generic advice.
If you were closer to retirement or already retired, a cash ISA may be better because you will need your money sooner and you don't want it to be exposed to the volatility of the stock market. Well, one, you don't know when that person will need it. Two, volatility is everyone's greatest friend because the value goes up as well as down. And three, the person will be retired for probably 3 decades. So that person is totally incorrect in what they do, but they have a following on there and somebody will listen to them and potentially move all their money from, let's say, investment-based ISAs, which have fallen in the last 4 months, which we know of, into cash-based ISAs, and will lose out on the uplift that will come in the next 1 month, 1 year, 10 years, whatever it may be, because over the term between now and the next 30 years, things will go up and that person will tell them to lose out.
Yes.
Again, a dash of generic advice without any substance.
It's a very difficult one though, isn't it? Because if you are qualified to give advice like we are, if we put an article out like that saying you should do X, Y, and Z, it's classified as advice. So if anything goes wrong with any member of the public, because they've taken our advice, we are liable. So the problem you guys is a bit of a catch-22, isn't it, right? People can put generic advice out there because they are trying to help people. But because they're not regulated, they can do it and there's no comeback on them whatsoever, right? But the people who can give you the right advice can't put it out there.
Yeah.
But then also, advice is not generic. Any advice that we give to a client is purposely constructed for each individual client because everyone's different. Everyone
Absolutely.
has a tolerance risk. Everyone has different needs, requirements. Maybe putting some money into cash, okay, coming up to retirement isn't a bad idea, but that's not for everybody.
Yeah, totally. You can take the example of, let's say, brothers who are twins. They're both born on the same day, but their lifestyles could be different. One, they could have different jobs. They could have different children. They could have different hobbies. They could have different health issues. All of these things have to be taken into the mix. You can't just go, at this age. It's a bit like, is it the Telegraph or the Daily Mail run things about every 3 months, and they go, this is the cost of retirement for a 60-year-old, and somebody who goes away on holidays. It's not. That is very, very generic.
Yeah.
Everyone is bespoke. If you like Formula One and I like watching a local football team, then when you get to retire, you going away to watch Formula One is going to cost you a hell of a lot more than me driving, 15 miles to watch a local football team for £5 a go. So you have to understand the whole aspect of the person's life. So when you talk about the money and the finance, it's kind of irrelevant, because you have to construct it or start it with what actually do you like to do, or what would you like to do? How much is that going to cost?
Yeah.
And let's work from there. Not throw everything into cash because the world is, or the markets and the economy are crap at the moment. Get out of it.
And that's the problem, isn't it?
Volatility risk, sequence risk, loss of capital risk, inflation risk. Let's throw all of these things into the mix.
Yeah. And this is the problem, and this is where this is going to get worse with the advice gap, isn't it?
Well, those that can't afford to pay for it will get generic advice, which potentially will be generic and incorrect for that person.
But also, I think the issue with people who can't afford to pay it, there's not many financial advisors you can actually go to and just pay a straight fee to either.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, even if you go to your big wealth managers, your Barclays Wealth and people like that, they're not. You can't just pay them a fee. You probably can't walk into many IFA practices or any other financial advisor practice and go, can I just pay you a fee for you to give me advice? And then if they do say yes, you can, it's probably going to be quite expensive.
Yeah.
So there's this huge issue with the advice gap, isn't there?
And everyone thinks money. You use a number. Let's say £100,000 is a shed load of cash. Yeah. It is a huge amount. But in the world of the IFA, the financial planner, to recommend or give advice on that costs, potentially a few £1,000s.
Yeah. And
all of a sudden, it's not worth the advisor's time.
No.
Because they're aware that it's a high proportion of cost relative to the pot for the individual. So morally, you think, I can do it for you, but it's going to cost you a lot in comparison to what you have. Yeah. So as you said, the advice gap seems to be getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Those that have more money are getting the correct advice because they have the larger pots. Those that have the smaller pots are not getting any advice, and probably incorrect advice. And that smaller lump sum is more relevant and important to them than the person that has the big lump sum, who is more so looking at tax efficiency, where the other person is looking to subsidise a cost of lifestyle. Yeah,
because I think that most advisors now, you'd be lucky if you could find an advisor who will advise you with something under 100 grand.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say two.
Well, yeah, probably more. I would say probably more 150 to 200 is probably where you kind of need to be from a point of view of justifying what you need to earn,
and as
to be profitable.
Let's say maybe
because at the end of the day, we're not charities.
Yeah, and
we're not paid by the regulator. We're not paid by the Financial Service Compensation Scheme or any of those companies. We run businesses.
Let's not talk about the regulator. I'm doing a Gabriel return as we speak, which is
I know. Well, exactly.
For those that are unaware, we have to do a return every 6 months, along with loads of other things, and it is just mind-numbing data gathering for them that have to be put into the correct fields to justify a compensation contribution we have to make. But I agree. And what, maybe not 30-year-old, what 40-year-old, maybe with a family and a mortgage and a car loan or whatever that, can afford to grow his or her wealth to the degree that they get they have 150, 200,000 pounds in investable assets or pensions or ISAs in their mid-40s, when they need to start really seriously structuring their exit plan, be the employed or employed or self-employed, because even if you're working for somebody, you still need an exit strategy 10, 15 years out. As in, when are you going to stop or reduce your working? And people don't have that sort of level of wealth at the moment because it's just not there. And I think the cost of everything is astronomical. And I do go back to the lifestyle. Everyone wants to go away for weekends now. Everyone wants the best new football kit. Everyone goes to the Odeon cinema at £45 a pop for an hour and a half. We're living a really, really expensive lifestyle, which is going to have an impact on us in years to come because we're not saving or investing anywhere near enough for the future, our future selves.
No.
Rant over.
Rant over. Yeah. Seems to be that's all we do at the minute. But I think that's strange how the world is, isn't it?
Yeah. I saw one of those. Was it a Bridgend jersey from years ago, or
Bridgend Rugby?
Was it? Who are the team that disbanded?
Celtic Crusaders.
Did they have a? Was it a buy now pay later logo?
No, that was buy now. Wasn't buy now. Wasn't that Pontypridd?
Was it? You know the logo I'm on about. You could buy a TV and pay for it in installments.
Yeah, that was Pontypridd, I think, wasn't it?
I saw something like that.
But I don't know whether that, because Pontypridd, did they become that? I don't know, let's have a look. What was the Celtic Crusaders? Let's have a look. What their jersey kit was.
The only reason I saw an ad for that
was
recently,
wasn't it?
And that to me encapsulates everything about the economy or people's attitude now. Is there's no concept of saving, i.e. cash-based, building up a reservoir of money to buy the thing in the future. It's all buy it now and I'll worry about paying for it back over the next few years.
Oh, that Celtic Crusaders, the rugby league. What was the one?
Celtic Crusaders? Celtic Warriors.
Celtic Warriors, you're right, yeah. Celtic Crusaders is the rugby league in North Wales. Celtic Warriors, that's the one. What was their jersey?
I thought it was a blue.
Yeah. Buy as you view. Yeah.
Buy as you view. There we are. Yeah.
Buy as you view. Yeah.
So I get it. You know, enjoy it now and pay it back over time rather than. But I think that this generation takes that to a whole new level of going Amazon, eBay, click, buy, and worry about paying for it back later.
Yeah. God, there's some good players played down there as well. So look at the list. Yeah. Buy as you view. God, yeah, I remember that. Loads of them used to work for them as well, didn't they?
Probably.
Yeah, there we go.
So understand what you want to do and then stop reading the rubbish in the news.
It's all rubbish in the news, isn't it? That's what I watch. I miss out on so much stuff. People say, did you see that in the news? Nope, didn't see that. Didn't see that. Nope, didn't see that either. I don't know, because I won't watch it. Negative Events World Service.